Hi everyone, Smash is coming to the Switch here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Titus Andronicus album, A Productive Cough. This is the fifth full-length album from Glen Rock, New Jersey band Titus Andronicus, a group that despite some lineup changes and music style changes over the years is still the brainchild of singer-songwriter Patrick Stickles. And I went into this record with a lot of positive vibes, a lot of happy thoughts, not just because I thought some of the teaser material for it sounded really good, but also the band's last album, The Most Lamentable Tragedy, was truly a record that lived up to its name. It was like this overly long, unbearably lo-fi folk rock opera in 5 acts. In one breath, while I appreciated the ambition of this LP, that Patrick was really reaching for the stars with it, I also found the album to be kind of unlistenable. This new album, though, is much more manageable by comparison. It's just 7 tracks that are 46 minutes in length, and for the most part, it sounds like Patrick and company are indulging in the sounds of like bar band rock or some Heartland rock, but with a socially conscious edge that takes a more punk rock and anarchist tone, which in concept for me sounds like a pretty cool idea. I mean, this style of music is typically pretty blue collar, doesn't shy away from addressing or talking about the problems that face and affect the working class. And that is an element of this genre that Patrick is really quick to embrace, especially on tracks like Real Talk, as well as his more personal rendition of Bob Dylan's song Like a Rolling Stone. My issue with this album, though, comes mostly down to execution, because even though I like what Titus Andronicus is doing aesthetically, the performances and the writing on this album leave a lot to be desired. Because there are tracks on this thing that become painfully tedious before they're even close to finishing, like the song Real Talk, where at the 5-minute mark, you pretty much get the idea of the song. If so-and-so says that such and such is this bad, then we're in for a really bad or blah. That's pretty much the lyrical rubric for the entire track, and it gets so tiresome. Maybe if I was in a bar and singing it loudly with other people with a few beers in me, it would sound more exciting, but And then we have the song Home Alone, which yet again is another piece of very strung out bar band rock, which does very little to justify its 8-minute runtime outside of some very mild jamming and guitar solos and reiterating maybe some of the most silly refrains Stickles has ever wrote. Mommy's not home, Daddy's not home, nobody's home, I'm home alone. Like, what? And then you have the vocal performances on this thing, like on the opening track, number 1, in New York. This song sounds like the longest and worst sing-along ever. It's kind of like a teary-eyed, piano-led pub rock tune, but there are all these vocal layers on the track, half of which sound like they are trying to sing the song in a slurred, drunken stupor. Meanwhile, another chunk of the vocals sound like they've forgotten the lyrics entirely and they're just trying to mouth along with what Patrick is singing. It sounds really terrible, really sloppy, and I kind of get the same vocal vibe off the song Mass Transit Madness, which to me is just as unlistenable. There are a couple strokes of genius on the album. Above the Bodega, for sure, is one. A really catchy, passionate tune it's hard not to get wrapped up in, especially since the lyrics and the message of the song are so smart. Basically talking about how easy it is to confide in or find comfort in strangers and the difficulty Patrick has keeping secrets from them. I really love the lyrics of the track Crass Tattoo, despite the fact that it is yet another moment that I feel the vocal performances are kind of underwhelming and uninteresting. I really love the lyrics on the track Crass Tattoo, even if it is a song that to me vocally is very underwhelming. And then I really do enjoy Titus Andronicus's rendition of Like a Rolling Stone. I like the angle of personal suffering that Patrick takes with the lyrics as he kind of changes them to be about him. Instrumentally, their take on the track is actually really fun, wild, sweaty. It has a certain kind of gusto to it while staying very true to the original blueprint of the song. But outside of those couple of cuts, I really don't enjoy much about this album. It just feels to me to be like an unsatisfying mess. It's like on the cusp of something great, and yet it continues to shoot itself in the foot again and again and again. As I think Patrick and company kind of rely a little bit too much on this whole Heartland rock aesthetic to make the album appealing, when really it should be the songs and it should be the singing and it should be the musicianship that pulls listeners in, not the novelty of mimicking the sound of a bar band. I'm feeling a light to decent 5 on this thing. Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry, just leave a thoughtful comment in the comments if you're feeling full of thoughts. Next to my head, another video you can check out, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, forever